Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Around the Table GTA. This is going to be version 2 of Should I Wake Up at 5 a.m.? I'm getting that topic right at the start for you guys, just so you know what we will be talking about. It's a concept that we see a lot with people who are quote unquote successful, or you'll see something cheesy for motivation where most successful people wake up at 5 a.m. and then they list off a bunch of different things that successful people do, and then it's supposed to motivate you to be like, ooh, now I can do anything. Well, you know what? I could say that there's a hint of truth in it, right? Especially when it comes to mindset, right? And what I mean by that is like today, for example, like when I do a podcast episode, I kind of like to get into the mix, right? If I'm talking about, let's say, hard times, maybe I'm dealing with hard times. If I'm talking about experience, maybe, I've been experiencing some things. Uh, Closer to the last season, the end of the last season, by the way, I was talking about how to get it done. It's something that I was seeing a lot. It's something that I was discussing with someone. So I like to get involved just so that I feel more authentic when I am doing an episode. So today I woke up at 5 a.m. and I've been running for the past couple of days. If you follow me on social media, you've been seeing that I've been doing some failed runs. So I was like, you know what? I woke up early and let's do something. I could have just rolled in bed for like an hour and a half and went back to sleep. But I decided, hey, I'm going to wake up early. I'm going to do a bunch of things. I'm going to redo this podcast episode and I'm going to give you guys my opinion. All right. So I got up and, I fiddled around and I do something that's kind of strange. Like, I don't charge my phone at night. There's different reasons why, but my main reason is so that I don't get too distracted when I wake up. I could actually go and do something somewhat productive before, my phone's at like 50% or 70%. Then I'm like scrolling like everybody else. But, it's a mindset and, maybe you should try it. Keep your phone not like, don't make it under 10% before you're going to sleep, or that could be a problem. Also, make sure that you close your app so it doesn't slowly drain and then your alarm doesn't go off. By the way, I did not put in an alarm for this morning. I'm the type of person, if I sleep at a certain time, I wake up at a certain time as well, because my body is used to, oh, if I'm going to bed at this time, it's probably because I have work at this time. It just wakes me up at certain times. So I naturally wake up at 5 a.m. if I don't sleep at a certain time, or if I sleep at a certain time. But anyways, getting back to the story, I woke up, I went for a run, and I was actually finally able to complete my circuit. And was it the best time? No, but I think it was the essence of waking up really early, having nothing else on my mind except for let me finish this run and then maybe go back to sleep. And it pushed me through the whole thing. The essence of night, even though like an early morning with no sunlight feels more like night, right? It's just a different time. And it's the challenge of waking up and doing something that you don't necessarily want to do, right? Because I start work at 3 o'clock, at least this week, right? So there's no reason why I should be waking up at 5 a.m., right? But me controlling the narrative of my day is controlling pretty much everything else in my day. And I think that's the core reason, or the core mindset of waking up at 5 a.m. Doing something difficult right away controls how you will deal with the rest of the day, whether it's something good or whether it's something bad. Like, even recently, it was my first day at work, and there was like a medical emergency at work, and luckily everything went fine. But because I had enough sleep, because I was focused, I was able to deal with it calmly, right? And waking up at 5 a.m. or waking up earlier than expected gives you the mindset where anything is possible. And that's how your brain works. It's a big mind over matter. And I think the same thing with the running. This podcast is also dedicated to a friend that made a comment, and also Dalton. because they help motivate me to keep going. And my friend said that, hey, you've been running in a heat wave, so you shouldn't feel bad about not being able to finish everything. But I woke up today, I was able to run. It was a little bit cooler, but we're still in a heat wave, right? So it's a mindset where, oh, it's hot, it's the middle of the day, oh, I have to get to work anyways. All those clouded thoughts stop me from getting to my goal. But when you wake up at 5 a.m., a lot of those barriers are shut down. You're not really thinking about anything outside of maybe potentially going back to sleep or whatever you're planning for the rest of the day. So a lot of your intrusive thoughts or doubts or anxiety will not kick in. So waking up at 5 a.m. is core, or it's core in the sense that it already sets you up for success, especially if you push your way through it. A lot of people end up having this type of lifestyle, whether they have kids, so they have to wake up early so that they have a little bit more time for themselves. Or if someone has a pet, you need to go let your dog out so that they could do their business. Uh, a little bit TMI, I was going for a run and then I saw someone who actually bagged their dog's poop but left the bag on the floor. It's like they're in the garbage. What was the point? You're just adding more plastic. If you left the poop on the grass, at least it would like disintegrate into the ground. But now there's plastic on the floor. But anyways, 5 a.m. waking up. It's also cool to see like the world wake up, right? Sometimes you actually see some things, like I saw a skunk while I was running. I'm like, oh my gosh, if this thing sprays me, it's the end of my day. Right? You'll see some different things, and then you'll see people waking up. It's a lot quieter too, right? So if you're doing something new, or you're trying to be sketchy, waking up at 5 a.m. is good. Not a lot of people are gonna see you. You can keep it on the low. you know uh yeah, there's just a lot of benefits to it, but I think there's also detriments to it as well, right? Just because successful people do something doesn't mean it's gonna work for you, right? A lot of things when it comes to success, it's a mindset. It's not necessarily what people do, it's how they do it or why they do it, right? Like for me, it doesn't really make sense for me to wake up at 5 a.m. because I start my day, or my work day starts at a certain time, and now I could be up for 8 hours. Why am I going to be up for 8 hours, then go to work for 8 hours? you know, it's it's weird, especially if I only got like 4 hours of sleep, right? So it depends on your lifestyle, right? If you work nights, you can't get up at 5 a.m. You're gonna lose your job, right? um, but I do believe in the core um, message of waking up at 5 a.m., getting that head start. Another thing about the positive is that you're already like ahead of everybody in the sense where nobody's around, right? Like not everybody, but a majority of the people that are up at 5 a.m., they're up because they have to. Like the examples that I mentioned, like if you have kids, you kind of have to be up before your kids because you're a parent, you're the example, right? Until your kids get to a certain age, you need to be the responsible person and set them up for success. So, why won't you set yourself up for success until you have to, right? I did have uh, a previous episode. It's the second episode of this season where it's like, do it now because it'll be harder later, right? Check it out. And this is the same set with the 5 a.m. mindset, or waking up at 5 a.m. Don't wait until you have to wake up at 5 a.m. to wake up at 5 a.m. It's something that you could try, and maybe it can motivate you to be a better person. Maybe it'll motivate you to have a different thought. And uh, I still think there's something a little bit magical about watching the sunrise, seeing the world wake up and being a part of that, or being able to witness that. It's kind of like the same thing with sunsets. I know it sounds cheesy because, how old are you for you to be like, oh, have you never seen a sunset before? Have you never seen the sunrise before? But it is something that is, it's, I don't know, it's unique, and I don't know if it's something that's primal in myself, but it's something that's nice. So wake up early so you can at least see the sunrise, and then maybe go back to sleep. There's a lot of different benefits for it, and I'm here for it when it comes to that. Sometimes waking up a little bit earlier can change your life. It could change your routine. It could change how you deal with things, right? Because if you have more time for yourself, then it could get you thinking on what you actually need to do or want to do, right? If you're anxious about life, it gives you a little bit more time in a sense where now I'm up and I could think about more things, even though I'm anxious or even though I'm an overthinker. Maybe I will concentrate on my thoughts a little bit more because now I have more time. With more time, I could figure out all the things that are bugging me, right? I think the negatives of waking up at 5 a.m. is, if you have like a circle of people or whatever, if you want to be chatty, it's hard, right? Even though right now I'm doing my podcast, so I might be accidentally waking up everybody in the house because they're all sleeping. You have to be kind of surrounded with more people with the same mindset for it to feel more of a welcoming kind of thing. But I think that there's a lot of things that a lot of people don't realize, that sometimes it's better to be alone to experience that. But at the same time, that is probably for another episode. So ultimately, do I think you should wake up at 5 a.m.? The answer is it's up to you. I know it's pretty generic or whatever, but I did mention some stuff and I'm going to go over it again. You have 100% control of your day, right? Especially if you're waking up early, you have more time to figure out whatever else that you want to do, especially if you clear out distractions like a phone or whatever you do in the morning. Maybe there's like TV shows that you're watching, or because you know that you have more time so you could waste it, right? um there's also the quietness and the serene. Like, I feel like a lot of my senses were heightened this morning just because I was up and I was alert. So it gives you another sense of like alertness, and something a little bit more primal is there. You're not feeling like a robot where, you know, I wake up at 9 o'clock, I get to work at 10 o'clock, I leave work at 6 o'clock. It's something that kind of like takes you out of a routine, especially like if you're upset, if you're depressed, if you're going through some things. Changing up that pattern can help you kind of recover and put you back into a place where, you know, I'm not being me. It's time for a change in my life. And that change starts with waking up early. The negatives about it is that it's kind of like a lonely existence. Not a lot of people are on that grind. Um, you know, the first couple of times you do it, you're going to be very, very tired. And it's not going to feel like it's worth it. Maybe some people will comment on how you look, but I think the long term effects of it can be very good, especially if you stick to it, or even if you do it once in a while. Sometimes you need to take baby steps. Um, Another kind of negative thing is it kind of throws your routine off, right? So if you have a good routine, I don't recommend changing it up because someone successful wakes up at 5 a.m. Like, I remember, I think it's like Mark Wahlberg. He like wakes up at 2 a.m. and then he starts doing a bunch of stuff, right? It's just like, I'm not waking up at 2 a.m. to do all of this stuff. I'm not living that life. It's not for me, right? And that's another thing too. It may not be for you. 5 a.m. might be just too early for you. Maybe you need the sunlight to pick you up, those rays to touch your skin and, you know, be an active member of society or inactive member of society. I don't know what you're doing with your life, but hopefully you are having a great time. And if you're not, check out some of my older episodes, and hopefully those will help you get on track. But without going on for too long, because I guess I'm starting to feel tired. Hopefully you guys like the episode, and I encourage you to try it out, even if it's for one day a week, or only on weekdays, or only on weekends. That's when everybody sleeps in, but you could start doing that weekends. Experience different parts of life. Like I said earlier, I said I've worked 3 different shifts. I've worked days, afternoons, and nights, right? Sometimes a different lifestyle is suited for you. So waking up at 5 a.m. is kind of the start to a new lifestyle. So either way, guys, hopefully you like this episode, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. But if you guys want to hear the other version of this, let me know, and I'll unprivate it, and you guys could check that one out too. All right. Either ways, hopefully you guys enjoy this, and the rest of your day is great. Go wake up at 5 a.m., see how it goes, and let me know. Take care.